In the quiet glow of fading light, the wind returns with autumn's final breath. Soft traces of time settle gently over the landscape I thought I knew so well. Silvery sway in trembling waves, releasing the season they once held close. As I stare into the shifting field, I realize parts of me are drifting with it. Memories I left beneath the open sky walking the hill where the wind has stilled. Unspoken words start trembling inside me. Perhaps we were only passing lights on each other's long and quiet journey. Even in my unsteady days, you quietly became my guiding light. In every empty space within me, the warmth you left still lingers. A season fading but never gone. Your warmth returns like a memory of life. Even as the wind opens new paths, I will remember you still. Within the last breath of autumn's fall, you remain, an echo that never disappears. In the place where the wind once passed, a soft trembling still remained, a quiet echo that felt like the last breath of a fading memory. The night wrapped itself around the hill, and even the silence seemed to whisper things I had forgotten to listen to. I stepped into the space the wind had touched, and something within me shifted like dust in a beam of light. A moment I thought had disappeared rose back to the surface, fragile but unbearably warm. if waiting for me to remember the something I had left behind. The world felt suspended, a breath held between past and present. And in that stillness, the faintest sound of your voice echoed through the reeds. Not loud, not clear, but familiar enough to draw tears I didn't know I held. Footprints of time drifted along the edge of my heart. Things I tried to bury kept rising like soft waves that gently but firmly pulled me back to myself. Where the wind once passed, I found the pieces of me I thought I had lost. The moment that brushed past my life lifted me gently back to my feet. And in the quiet flow of night, your name rose again, not as a wound, but as a light guiding me forward. The field shimmered faintly as the wind carried the last warmth of the day. Every sway of the reeds felt like a heartbeat that had survived a long winter. I watched them bend and rise again, just as I had over and over without realizing it. In their soft resilience, I recognize myself, quiet, shaken, but still breathing. Drifted to me the way dusk drifts into evening. Slow, inevitable, gentle, I let them come this time. I let myself feel every piece of what I had run from. And strangely, none of it hurt the way I expected. It simply settled around me like a familiar coat I hadn't worn in years. If the wind returns one day, I hope it finds me stronger. If memories return, I hope I meet them with softer hands. Everything the wind carried away was never truly gone. It was just waiting for me to be ready again. Where the wind once passed, I found myself standing whole. Even the moments that slipped away left traces that led me back here. And as the night unfolded before me, I realized I had never truly been lost. You may have drifted away, but your warmth stayed with me. Quiet, patient, unwavering. And tonight, beneath a breathing sky, I gather every passing light and take my next step forward. Night slowly wraps around the hill, and wind gently moves the silver reeds. A river of shimmering light flows as starlight softly lands upon the path. Walking along the quiet trail, I unfold the scattered thoughts within me. In the dark they grow clearer, calling out the version of myself I once lost. Starlight feels close enough to touch. It slips away the moment I reach. Caught between these fleeting moments, I keep stepping forward, walking the starlit field of reeds. Forgotten feelings rise again. My still heart begins to beat, awakened by the gentle night. On this path I come alive once more. The wind threading through the reeds feels like stories I never spoke. Small hopes hidden deep inside begin to show their light. I don't know what waits at the end, but under the stars tonight, my fear feels softer, lighter, almost disappearing. Even if I lose my way, the stars will guide me forward. If there is a place I'm meant to reach, perhaps this moment is where it began. As I walk this starlit road, I feel myself slowly changing. Wind reeds, light and me, all quietly connected. In this place I find the heart I thought I lost, like the night sky holding me gently once again. On the quiet hill where the lone tree stands, I felt time settle around me like an old familiar blanket. Its branches held the breath of seasons, days of harsh winds, nights heavy with silence, mornings warmed by soft sunlight. Everything it had endured was written across its bark, line by line, like a story whispered by the earth itself. I stood before it, feeling smaller, yet somehow more alive, as if the tree's long solitude had room enough for both of us. The wind curled around its limbs, carrying unspoken memories the tree could not say aloud. And as the leaves rustled, they sounded like 1,000 quiet sighs, sighs of patience, of waiting, of standing tall even when the world offered no shelter. I wondered how long it had stood there, shaken but unbroken, holding on to the sky, with nothing but its own quiet strength. And in that fragile steadfastness, I recognized a piece of myself. Alone does not always mean lonely. Silent does not always mean empty. The tree reminded me that endurance can be gentle too, the kind that doesn't shout but softly continues. The lone tree sings with a voice made of wind and time, a melody without words but filled with everything it's ever held. Warm like cold nighttime spoken hopes, its quiet song wrapped around me like a promise. You're not alone, you've never been. Even as the sun faded and stars climbed into the sky, the tree did not change. It didn't bend for the dark nor reach desperately for the light. It simply stayed, and that steadiness gave my trembling heart a place to rest. In the soft shadow it cast, I learned that courage is sometimes nothing more than choosing to remain. I traced my fingers along its rough bark, feeling the years carved into it. Every crack was a testament, not to breaking but to surviving, not to wounds but to the ways one continues on despite them. And suddenly I understood, maybe my own scars could become stories too. Maybe they already were. The tree whispered through its rustling leaves, even if the world forgets you, even if no one stands beside you, your roots can hold you steady under the vast sky. I let myself believe it, I let myself breathe again. Slow, unsure, hopeful, the lone tree sings, and its song fills the night around me. Not loud, not demanding, just steady, warm, enduring. In its voice I heard my own story, every tremble, every ache, every reason I kept walking. And I realized something simple, something soft. I too could stand, I too could grow, I too could hold my place in the world, even when the wind returned. Tonight beneath the quiet stars I choose, like the tree, to stay, to to rise again. Walking through these quiet hours, I hear my own heart speaking softly. In the rush of everyday life, I had never noticed his voice before. When I pause and breathe deeply, scattered feelings fall back into place. The emotions I ignored for so long return with a gentle warmth. The blurred parts of my day grow clear, and the version of me that stopped moving begins to breathe again. Crossing the quiet hour, I start to understand myself once more. Dreams I pushed aside knock lightly on my heart again. A light that asks for no words spreads softly within me. Walking alone on a silent road, my own footsteps felt like comfort. Even a hope I thought was gone began to come alive again. Like a small light that never fades in the dark, my heart stayed warm and grew a little brighter. Sometimes you must stop to gather the courage to move forward. This quiet night taught me crossing these quiet hours, I discover a new path within myself. Scattered pieces connect again, and life begins to flow once more. A small light rises inside me, guides me gently into tomorrow. I stood between darkness and light, not knowing which side. My heart belonged to the night wrapped around me. like a question waiting to be answered. A small breath of light rested gently at the edge of my vision, soft enough to miss, but warm enough to keep me from falling apart. And in that delicate glow I felt something quietly return. A part of me I had almost forgotten. Shadows move like memories, drifting beneath the surface of water. Each one held a fragment of time, a whisper of who I once was. I reached for them, but they slipped away like mist before my fingers could close. Yet even their fading touch left a warmth on my skin, as if reminding me that not everything that disappears is meant to be lost forever. Between the quiet breath of night and the gentle glow of dawn, my heart learned how to beat again, slowly, trembling but alive. Between darkness and light I found the courage I thought I'd lost. The quietest spark grew into something bright enough to guide my shaking steps. And for the first time in a long time I wasn't afraid of the path ahead. The light didn't save me, it reminded me I could save myself. The wind curled around my shoulders, carrying with it the scent of a new beginning. In that moment I felt the darkness soften, not disappear, but loosen its hold just enough for me to breathe. I walk forward slowly, not because I wasn't afraid, but because the light was finally close enough for me to trust. Every step echoed through the quiet field, blending with the sound of distant stars humming against the sky. I didn't know where the path was leading, but something within me recognized the way. Sometimes healing doesn't look like sunlight, sometimes it looks like a trembling step in the middle of the night. If darkness taught me how to feel, then light taught me how to hope. If falling taught me the shape of my heart, then rising taught me how to hold it gently. Between two worlds I learned the truth. Everything I needed was already inside me. Between darkness and light I found myself again. The shadows no longer frightened me, they simply reminded me of where I'd been. And the light, soft and patient, reminded me of where I could go. not perfectly, not fearlessly, but beautifully alive. When the wind swept across the quiet field, the reeds moved as if they carried a memory, a trembling rhythm shaped by time, soft, unbroken, breath-like. And in their gentle sway, I saw the echo of the person I once was, shaken by life, yet still standing, still searching for the smallest light. As the last breath of autumn lingered in the air, the reeds lifted themselves higher, as though trying to hold on to something the season was slowly taking away. Their movement felt like a farewell, yet also a beginning, a final dance that whispered, not everything ends when it fades. Even in a season slipping out of reach, the heart remembers what mattered. Something warm, something gentle kept rising from within. Watching the last dance of the reeds, I felt my own heart sway beside them. Moments I thought had vanished rose quietly to the surface again. The warmth left behind by the passing season returned like a soft breath on my skin. And as the wind moved freely through the field, I realized I was ready to move again. The sound of the reeds brushing together felt like an old familiar song, a melody worn by time, yet still tender enough to heal. Their whispering voices filled the quiet space around me, reminding me of things I had tried too hard to forget. Autumn's final colors burned softly around us, and even as the light dimmed, the reeds kept dancing, as though preparing for the next season, not mourning the one that passed. Their faith in the wind, their trust in the cycle, taught me how to breathe again. If trembling is what it takes to grow, then let me sway with the wind too. If breaking is not the end, then let every crack be filled with something brighter. The field whispered, you are allowed to begin again. The last dance of the reeds may fade, but its echo lingers deep within me. Every trembling moment in the wind made me a little braver. Every step of their final dance became a step I needed to take now. quiet hill. Under the settling night, I felt my footsteps soften, as though the ground already knew my name. The air carried a coolness that touched the spaces in me. I had tried so long to silence there. Between the sway of distant reeds, I felt a small lake rise, the kind that comes not from pain but from remembering what I once loved, what I once lost, what I still carry without knowing. A faint breeze drifted over the hilltop, gathering the scent of earth and nightfall. It wrapped me gently, as if asking me to listen, not to the world, but to the voice I had forgotten inside myself. And in that hush, I realized how long it had been since I allowed my heart to simply rest, to simply feel without rushing toward or away from anything. The night did not ask for strength, it only asked for presence, for the courage to stay with whatever rose inside me. On the night hill, I left a piece of my heart where the wind could hold it softly. Dreams I thought had fallen silent stirred again in the quiet air, and the gentle dark lifted the weight from my chest, as if saying you don't have to carry it alone anymore. Stars began blooming overhead, each one shimmering with a kind of patient light. I watched them slowly gather, forming shapes that felt strangely familiar, shapes that mirrored the scattered pieces of myself. The hill felt like a sanctuary, a place untouched by hurry, where even brokenness could breathe without fear. A soft pulse echoed across the valley, as though the night itself had a heartbeat. And with every breath I took, the rhythm aligned with mine, slow, steady healing. I realized then that this hill had seen countless stories, countless hearts arresting, countless souls searching, and somehow it held room for mine too. If I close my eyes, I can hear the rustle of time, the way it whispers through the reeds and shadows. It tells me that nothing is truly lost, only waiting to be found, when I finally grow quiet enough to listen. On the night hill, I left my heart not to abandon it, but to free it. And in the gentle cradle of darkness, it learned to beat again, softly at first, then stronger, rising like a new dawn inside my chest. warmth with me. And I know whenever I lose my way, the hill will wait and the wind will return, holding the part of me I left there, until I'm ready to come back home. In the quiet dark, small lights flicker, brief trembling stars drifting close enough to feel. One of them lingered on me, as if it recognized something I had long forgotten. Without speaking, it reached gently toward the places I kept hidden beneath the noise of life. Time kept moving relentlessly, yet that single moment refused to fade. Memories I believed were lost rose like dust caught in a soft beam of light. Each memory carried a warmth I had convinced myself I no longer deserved, but the light knew better. It simply stayed beside me. On a night carried by whispers of wind, I met the version of myself I thought I had left behind. Within the lights that passed by, I found pieces of who I used to be. Moments that touched my heart for only a brief breath returned as if they had been waiting. A small quiet light held my tired heart tenderly, telling me I had never truly been lost. As I walked along the dim road, memories scattered at my feet like fallen leaves. With each step, I felt the weight of yesterday soften, as though the night itself was giving me permission to let go of what I carried too long. Even in emotions that drifted like dust in the dark, a faint warmth remained, a reminder that not everything that fades is meant to disappear. Some things return quietly, only when we are gentle enough to notice. Light may stay only for a moment, but its meaning lasts far longer. The passing glow whispered, you are still becoming, you are still unfolding. And in that soft, fragile truth, I felt myself exhale. The lights that passed by were guiding me all along. Even the darkest hours held a shimmer I couldn't see before. Now as I walk beneath the quiet sky, I understand I was never meant to stay lost. Those fleeting lights were breadcrumbs leading me home. And tonight, as the wind settles around me, I gather every glimmer I found and step forward once more, brighter than before, softer than before, but finally fully alive. Silence settled around me like a soft blanket of dusk, steady, cool, patient. For the first time in a long while, I let myself breathe without rushing, without reaching, without hiding from the quiet. And in that hush, I heard something stirring, a faint melody woven into the stillness of the night. It felt fragile, yet unmistakably mine. The air trembled gently, as though carrying notes from a song I hadn't sung in years. Every tone was soft, every echo subtle, yet it touched the places in me I had long kept locked away. The silence wasn't empty, it was full, overflowing with everything I had forgotten to feel. Sometimes the quiet is not a void but a doorway, a space where the heart can finally hear itself. Inside the silence, a song began to bloom, not loud, not polished, but honest, a melody rising from the deepest part of me. It wrapped around my chest with gentle warmth, reminding me that even stillness can be a form of healing. The night sky open above me, stars drifting like sparks scattered from a dream. I felt their distant glow settle on my shoulders, light enough to comfort, bright enough to guide. Each shimmer matched the rhythm of my heart, slow but growing, like a promise being rewritten. Somewhere in the quiet, a soft harmony formed, a second voice, not separate from mine, but rising in time with it. It was the sound of strength returning, of hope quietly gathering, of the self I lost, making its way back home to me. I let the melody fill me, warm as breath, tender as morning. If silence is a canvas, then tonight it painted me whole. If stillness is a teacher, then it taught me how to listen again, not to the world, not to the noise, but to the quiet truth within my own chest. The song within the silence rose stronger, lifting me from the inside out. Every note felt like a step, every harmony like a hand, guiding me toward a gentler tomorrow. I realized then that healing doesn't always come with clarity or light. Sometimes it comes as a whisper, carried by the softest night. Tonight, as the melody settles within me, I walk forward slowly, letting silence and song become one. And in that union, I finally hear it, the sound of myself returning. On the evening when the season quietly closed, I stood alone beneath the fading sky. The wind was colder than usual, yet inside it lingered a soft warmth, a piece of a story I thought I had lost. As the sun slowly slipped beyond the horizon, old emotions I had forgotten rose quietly within me like distant light returning. The moments brushed gently by sunlight, the ones that once made me smile, they had never truly faded. Perhaps I had been keeping that season hidden deep inside my heart. Facing the light again felt like opening a long forgotten letter, one written to the version of me I used to be. Feelings I believed were gone returned as if reaching for my hands, and the traces that season left within me were still quietly alive. A season that never fades begins to move my heart again. Warmth I thought had drifted away wraps itself gently around me, and across the moments that passed, a new light slowly begins to fall. The stars awakened one by one in the sky. Even the faintest memories began to shine. Within them were small pieces of comfort, guiding me softly into the depth of my heart. Even in a season that seemed to end, something within me remained. It wasn't sorrow nor regret, but a quiet strength waiting for the right moment to rise. Even in days that felt unchanged, time was gently flowing, and in that flow the season whispered to me, you are not finished, your story is still being written. The season that never fades was living quietly inside me all along. Memories I thought were gone returned with new meaning. Its soft light guides me again, encouraging me to take another step. Now I understand the season never truly ended, and neither did I. My story is still unfolding. The day the wind brushed my shoulders, I paused and closed my eyes. A warmth unspoken yet so clear began to spread slowly within me. The wind wasn't simply passing by, it felt as though it was gently touching the sadness I had carried for too long. Feelings I thought I had forgotten awakened one by one between the breeze. Without a single word, the wind whispered softly, "It's alright, you can begin again, you're not finished yet." Those words reached a place I had long kept hidden. Even in my scattered days, a small flame remained, guiding me quietly forward. Every time the wind moves through me, I feel myself grow lighter. The sorrow I once held so tightly slips gently from my hands in its place. A new breath rises within me. I am living again, quietly but undeniably. Watching distant scenery fade, I looked at myself once more. Even in a heart I believed was broken, a quiet warmth still remained. The wind's delicate touch helped me finally see it. The breeze lifted the weight inside me, piece by piece. My trembling heart grew calm again, and I stepped forward slowly, softly returning to myself. Time that felt frozen had been flowing all along. Slowly, gently, the wind was simply showing me what I couldn't see. When the wind moves through me, I return to who I am. A new path opens between the fading sorrow, and I begin to walk again, lighter, deeper, guided by the quiet breath that the wind has given me. Standing beneath a tree that holds time, I felt as if I were meeting an old friend I had long forgotten. The lines carved into every branch spoke softly to me. You've been strong too. Those words settled into my heart like a gentle shadow. Through the branches filled with sunlight, I saw a glimpse of my younger self smiling. It stopped my steps for a the tree still remembered days I endured while trembling, wounds I carried quietly, all were pieces of the time that shaped me. The tree that holds time embraced me once more today. It cast a warm shadow over my scattered heart, saying without a sound, "You've done well, truly well." Tracing the cracked bark with my fingers, I felt the countless winters and unseen winds etched within it, and I realized my own scars would someday form a pattern just as beautiful. Even when the wind struck hard, its roots held firmly to the ground. From that I learned that endurance isn't merely surviving, it's quietly growing. Time is given to everyone, but how we hold it depends on our hearts. The tree taught me beneath the tree that holds time, I finally saw myself clearly. Scattered pieces joined together, and broken memories began forming a path like the tree. I will hold the time within me, quietly, steadily, as I move toward my next season. High above me, a faint path stretched across the sky, a delicate line of light that seemed to shift. Whenever my heart did, I don't know when it first appeared, or who drew it, or why it called to me. But when I looked up, I felt something inside me begin to move again, like a small bird testing its wings after a long winter. Clouds drifted slowly, parting just enough for the light to break through. It wasn't bright, just soft, gentle, like a voice speaking only to me. Take a step, it seemed to say, you don't need to know where it leads, just begin. The invitation was quiet, almost shy, yet it reached deeper than any loud promise ever could. Even when I couldn't see frozen, began to move again, slowly, carefully, but finally forward. I didn't know where the road would lead, but for the first time I wasn't afraid of not knowing. The wind brushed my shoulders as though urging me onward. Its touch wasn't forceful, just enough to remind me that movement is a kind of hope. I lifted my gaze again and saw the path shimmer faintly, as if waiting for me with patient breath. Sometimes the line disappeared entirely, swallowed by clouds or shadow. In those moments the world whispered softly, you're still walking. Even without seeing it, you're still on the way. And those words, or whatever in me formed them, wrapped gently around my heart. Lines of light trembled across the sky in rhythm with my breath. Every inhale brought the path closer, every exhale let go of a little more fear. Maybe the journey was never about reaching a certain destination. Maybe it was about learning to trust my own steps. On the path drawn in the sky, I finally recognized myself. Not the person I should have been, not the one I tried to be, but the one who had been quietly waiting to be found. My scattered pieces gathered into something whole, something luminous. And even if the path twists or fades, I walk without fear now, because the sky has already shown me that direction is not a place, but a feeling. As long as I keep looking up, as long as I keep stepping forward, the way will reveal itself. Soft as starlight, steady as breath, true as the sky that drew it for me. My face, I suddenly thought of you. Feelings I never said aloud slipped quietly into the breeze, hoping to reach you somehow, even from afar. It felt like the wind always flowed in your direction. When I looked at the night sky, your image rose like starlight, cold yet warm, quiet yet unmistakably there. Longing bloomed softly inside me, and I whispered to the wind, carry this heart to them, please. Even at the end of a long road, my heart still called your name. If I could become the wind that reaches you, I'd walk any path trembling inside me grew warm whenever I thought of you. A small feeling carried in the breeze hopes to reach you someday. On dark and lonely roads, your presence returned to steady my steps. Even as the distance widened, you never faded, you only grew clearer. Again I called upon the wind to carry my heart toward you. Maybe one day you'll feel it and recognize the part of me within it. That hope became a small light that kept me moving. Even if these feelings don't reach you yet, I will keep sending the wind your way. One day you'll understand that every path I walked was leading to you. The wind reaching you keeps me alive today. Even in a scattered world, I never lose you. I believe the heart within the breeze will someday find you. Until that moment, I will keep walking toward you. Leaving the place where I had lingered so long, I began walking forward slowly, steadily, without fear. Somewhere ahead, a season waiting for me, called softly. The wind was no longer cold, it felt like a warm hand, gently guiding my back with that comfort. I stepped forward with newfound courage. Everything around me The sky deepened, the wind sang, and for the first time I felt light, truly light. The road before me looked like untouched snow white, quiet, full of endless possibility. I placed my first footprint on it. Well done, I heard a voice